you have a message for Vladimir Putin?
I'm here. I think this is very clear message.
Yeah, it is pretty clear. President Zelenskyy with his message for Vladimir Putin after Putin just skipped out on the high-stakes peace talks in Turkey today. Zelenskyy saying that no show proves Putin doesn't want to really end the war. Also accuses him of disrespecting the rest of the world and his diplomatic partners. Listen.
Are you disappointed in the level of the delegation that the Russians sent to Turkey?
Why would I be we just took in $4 trillion, and he says, are you disappointed about a delegation? I know nothing about a delegation. I haven't even checked. Look, nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together.
So the peace talks they are having between lower-level officials are taking place tomorrow. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in attendance representing the United States. With us now, Dan Baer, former U.S. ambassador to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe and now director of the Europe program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Welcome back, Dan. Where do you start here in terms of what happens next? So Putin doesn't show. Trump's been hinting, well, I might have went if he went, and, you know, he might have went if I went. But what happens in the meantime?
Well, who knows what happens in the meantime? So far this week, I think, unfortunately, President Trump, who called for these talks, has been rebuked by President Putin again. Zelenskyy has done a good job of demonstrating that he's ready to be a team player, if you will, diplomatically, after President Trump a week ago called for a ceasefire and then said that there should be these talks after 4 European leaders were in Kyiv over the weekend and called President Trump, and they all agreed that if there wasn't a ceasefire, they would be prepared to impose further sanctions on Russia. Zelenskyy showed up for the talks and was ready to have them. What I'm worried about, I guess, is that now President Trump seems to have pulled the rug out from under the talks that are going to happen tomorrow, even with Russia's low-level delegation. And he's offered up a face-to-face meeting with Putin. And a face-to-face meeting with the U.S. president, no matter who it is Putin's prime prize. That's what he wants because it makes him look strong at home, and it demonstrates that he only really has one real counterpart in his view.
Yep.
And so.
Trump's saying that nothing would get done also until that happens in those comments. Is it interesting? So what role, if any, could Europe play in all of this, or are they sidelined? I mean, here's Keir Starmer. I'll play a clip about him talking about Putin dragging his feet, the UK Prime Minister.
What's happened today is further evidence that it's Putin who is dragging his feet. It is Putin who is causing the delay in a ceasefire. Ukraine has long been clear, several months ago now, that they would have a 30-day unconditional ceasefire.
So Europe, basically, they want Trump to follow through, right, Dan, on this threat to put sanctions, more sanctions on, or new sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, and I think that's the real question about where we go from here. I mean, Putin must really love this negotiation because so far, every time he says no, Trump says yes to something new. He says yes to barring Ukraine from NATO. He says yes to recognizing the occupation of Crimea under international law. He's now saying yes to a face-to-face meeting with Putin. I think the question is, what can Trump get out of a meeting with Putin? And I think if he has the courage and the strength to sit down with Putin and say, look, I'm serious about this ceasefire. If you don't do it, I am going to impose crippling sanctions like you've never seen, then that would be a good outcome of a face-to-face meeting. Unfortunately, the track record for face-to-face meetings between Trump and Putin isn't very good. You'll remember that in 2018, when he met with Putin in Helsinki, he ended up throwing the U.S. intelligence community under the bus in the press conference afterwards. So the real question is, can Trump deliver a tough message to Vladimir Putin if he does meet with him?
Yeah, that is the question, and you're right about Helsinki, Dan. Thank you, as always, Dan Baer.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.